Welcome into STB Sports Take, simply the best sports podcast. I'm your host, Sean Bingham. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. We are there. Also, check us out on social media, TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. Guys, Game 3 of the NBA Finals just happened, and I have one thing to say to start this show, and that is, Pacer fans, you have my attention. Okay, you've been preaching to me that I was overlooking this team, and I think you were right. This team is now ahead 2-1 in the NBA Finals, 2 wins away from the first championship in franchise history. What a time to be alive if you live in Indianapolis, okay? Now, this series has come down to one thing, and that is coaching. Mark Daigneault is being outcoached by Rick Carlisle, period. Rick Carlisle is a winner. He was a champion as a player, a champion as an assistant coach, a champion as a head coach. He knows how to get it done on this level. Meanwhile, Mark Daigneault is only 40 years old and only in his second NBA postseason as a head coach. And the inexperience is showing. He's overthinking things. Why is Isaiah Hartenstein not starting? He started all but 4 games that he played in this season. All but 4. You were the best team in the NBA, the best record. You were kind of steamrolling through the Western Conference with the exception of that Nuggets series, which you did win against a championship team. You beat them. And then you go and you change all of that in the NBA Finals. For matchup purposes, I don't get it. Hartenstein averaged 28 minutes per game in the regular season. He's averaging 19 in the NBA Finals. And the one game that he played the most minutes, the one game he played over 20 minutes in these finals, was Game 2, which the Thunder won pretty handily. So I don't understand what Daigneault's doing here. Why is he changing things? And he's got Barkley and so many other people just shouting this at him, but he refuses to change it. And now they're down 2-1. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in Game 4 because they are fighting for their lives in Game 4. I still think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win this series, but they have to win Game 4. Game 4 is a must-win. This Pacers team is too clutch and they're too well coached to lose a 3-1 lead. I do not see that happening. So if you are the Thunder, Game 4, you are fighting for your lives. Now, we've seen them with their back against the wall before this season, this postseason, and they've responded very well each and every time. I do not think that the Thunder will lose Game 4. I believe they will win Game 4 and seize control back of the series by seizing home court advantage back. If they can win Game 4, then they go back home with home court advantage back in their favor. Win Game 5, all of a sudden they're up 3-2, home court's all in their favor, right? So if you're a Thunder fan, that's what you want. But here's the scariest part if you're a Thunder fan. Game 3 was not like Game 1. It was not where you had this crazy flurry of a comeback at the very end. Indiana shot the 3 way better than they had all season, and then they hit a clutch shot at the last minute to kind of steal the victory. No, it wasn't like that. They actually shot right on their average, and you, Oklahoma City, shot above your average, and you still lost. So there's definitely some things to be concerned about if you're a Thunder fan. We know that we saw them come back from this against Denver. Denver beat them in Game 1, beat them in Game 3, but yet Oklahoma City came back and won that series in 7. Big difference, though, is that Denver had an interim head coach on the sideline, not a championship head coach. So this is going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to X's and O's because from a strictly personnel standpoint, OKC has the advantage. They just do. They're the deeper, more talented roster. This would be catastrophic for them to lose this series. They had the best record in the NBA. They've been doing fantastic in the playoffs. They got past their toughest opponent. I find myself sitting here wondering, is this like the Knicks versus Celtics series where we watched the Knicks steal games 1 and 2 in Boston, but then Boston just absolutely demolished them in Game 3 in New York, and we all thought, okay, there we go. There's the Celtics we know. They're going to come back and win this series handily, only to watch them lose in 6 games, and that would have happened with or without Tatum because they were losing that Game 5 regardless. So is it more like that series where we're just flat out wrong? Or is it like the Denver series where they fell down 2-1, but then came back and won the thing in 7? I think it's going to be more like the Denver series. I do get a little bit nervous, though, with that prediction just because of the championship pedigree of Rick Carlisle and Pascal Siakam. That cannot be underestimated. Pascal Siakam was a key player, the number 2 or number 3 player on that Toronto Raptors team that won the title in 2019. Meanwhile, OKC only has Alex Caruso with championship experience, and that was the Mickey Mouse bubble title of 2020 with the Lakers. No fans, no travel, role player, young in his career. It counts, it helps, but it's not nearly the same as a star player and a head coach having lots of championship experience. So shame on me for overlooking the championship pedigree of the Pacers. I've mentioned it before. I know it's there, and I just still kind of underestimated it. And guess what? I'm going to continue to. I still have the Thunder winning this series, and so does everybody else outside of Indiana. They're still minus 250 favorites to win the series, despite being down 2-1, and despite the fact that the Game 3 winner, historically, goes on to win 80% of the time in the NBA Finals if the series is tied 1-1 going into Game 3. 80%. And Vegas is still saying that Oklahoma City is going to win this series. Before Game 3, they were a minus 750. After losing Game 3 and being down 2-1, they're still a minus 250. That means you had to bet $750 just to win 100 before Game 3 happened. Now you have to bet $250 to win $100. So they're still making you put in 2.5 times what you'll earn or win if you want to bet on Oklahoma City. So if you're a Pacers fan and you truly believe in them, might be a way to make some money here because the odds are in your favor. But the thing is, with all of this, with so many people favoring the Thunder, picking the Thunder, I've been saying all along that the Pacers are playing with house money. They got nothing to lose because no one's expecting them to win outside of themselves and their fans. And I think that's playing to their favor. I think all of the pressure is on Oklahoma City, and it's kind of getting to them. And I got a message for Mark Daignault. Keep it simple, stupid, okay? Do what's been working all year long. You won 68 games. You won the Western Conference. You did it using a certain lineup and a certain method and a certain style of play. Stick with it. Play the same guys. Use your same rotations. Don't get so caught up in overthinking things. It could lose you in NBA Finals, and it's not easy to get back here. Ask Rick Carlisle, who hasn't been back since 2010. Okay, moving on to the NFL now. Aaron Rodgers says that he is married. Married. That was his personal stuff he was dealing with, I guess, during the offseason. We know he said he was in a relationship and was going through some things and dealing with some things. And it seemed very positive the way he was describing it, but nobody was really quite sure if he just wanted time off or what was going on. But he's wearing a wedding ring in a press conference, and the reporter asks him, what is that? And he said, it's a wedding ring. And then they said, how long? And he said, a couple months. So Aaron Rodgers is a married man. If you're a Steelers fan, I think this is great news because it's going to make him just a little bit more focused, a little bit more settled down. The amount of mental capacity and mental energy that is spent by men on women when they're single, trying to get women, chase women, whatever, is pretty insane. So now a lot of that can be channeled in on his wife and on football. So if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm actually pretty happy about this. Maybe, just maybe, this could be a little comeback year for Aaron Rodgers. He can go out the way he wants to and maybe get the Steelers that elusive postseason victory that they haven't tasted for so long. All right, back to the NBA. Got to talk about the Lakers real quick. Luka Doncic continues to show us that he's in good shape. He's skinny. He's fit. Check this out. Have we ever seen Luka leak workout videos? Have we ever seen Luka work out? To me, this is remarkable. This is showing me a changed Luka. He's squatting 720 pounds here. Not going very deep on those squats, but he's still doing it. I mean, I've never seen Luka post anything like this. I don't know if you have. Maybe I missed it. I've never seen a weight room video from Luka. I don't know that I've seen many off-season workout videos from him ever. To me, this is Luka sending a clear message that he is a changed man and he means business. So if you're a Lakers fan, this is fantastic to see. If you're a Mavs fan, you might not be as stoked to see this, but the truth is I don't think he was ever going to do this with Dallas anyway. It took him getting fired essentially by Dallas, getting traded away, being told you're not good enough, we don't want you, to wake him up and make the change he needed to make. So this is a great sign for Luka Doncic. If he continues this type of work ethic and he stays fit and he takes his conditioning seriously, to me, he's a top 5 player in this league. Sticking with the Lakers, LeBron James is back on his podcast, sending little subliminal messages to all of us that the 2020 bubble title that he and the Lakers won was the purest form of basketball. He knows that the majority of people outside of Laker fans don't view that championship with the same, it doesn't hold the same weight as other championships. We don't view it the same. We just don't. There was a massive break. There was a full off season in the middle of the season, and then they went and finished the season in the bubble. No travel, no fans, very few distractions. There was a lot of things that played in the favor of the Lakers, given the circumstances of them being an older team, an injury-prone team, all those things. The extra time off right in the middle of the season was a huge advantage to the Lakers because that was their weakness. So I get that everybody had the time off, but the weakness that the Lakers had was health and age, and that was completely solved by the massive time off they got right before they went to the bubble. And this idea that somehow the bubble was the purest form of basketball, to me, that's an insult to the NBA in general and all the players. Are they not playing because they love the game? Are they not playing true basketball because fans are watching? What does that even mean? I will never take from the Lakers that they won the championship that was available that year. They were the champions of 2020, but you cannot convince me that it holds the same weight or was the same degree of difficulty as a true 82-game season followed by grueling 7-game series with travel, with fans, with media, with pressure. There's a lot more pressure when there's fans and travel and all that stuff. When you're alone in a hotel and you're alone in an empty arena with just your family there and some fake cutout cardboard crowds and some fake crowd noise being pumped in, you can't tell me you feel the same level of pressure that you feel when there's 20,000 fans around you, massive press rooms. I mean, it's just a completely different thing. You're not traveling. There's no jet lag. There's no travel fatigue. There's no distractions. So I guess you could say it's the purest form in that regard, but does that mean that NBA isn't pure? Does that mean that only games at the Y are pure? Only pickup leagues at your local gym are pure? I don't think so. To me, it's just an excuse to try and elevate a championship that we all know doesn't hold quite the same weight. To me, this whole podcast thing with LeBron just seems so calculated. Who's another guy that has a big following on a podcast that played in the NBA? Gilbert Arenas, right? When have you ever heard LeBron talk about Gilbert Arenas? I never have. I'm not saying he hasn't, but it's just not a big topic of conversation. But now all of a sudden, you see Gilbert Arenas' podcast growing, you see his influence growing, and all of a sudden, LeBron is going out of his way to say how special Gil was. Gil was special. Yeah, I'm sure he was, Bron, and I'm sure you're saying that only because you think he was a good player. It has nothing to do with the fact that you want him on his podcast to start talking about how great you are and how you're the GOAT. I'm sorry, you can call me a hater, you can call me whatever you want. I view everything that LeBron does around this podcast, around the narrative surrounding him and his legacy, I view it as very, very calculated, and I don't even think he's hiding it very well. All right, next story in the NBA. The New York Knicks, of course, they fired Tom Thibodeau. There's a lot of rumors about that. Was it because of Jalen Brunson? Nobody knows. But now the Knicks are desperately seeking for a new coach, only among existing head coaches currently employed. Very interesting tactic. They've requested meetings with Chris Finch, Ime Udoka, and Jason Kidd. At least those three to date. And there probably will be more. All teams have denied the requests to meet. But here's the thing. Does it really matter if you deny the request or accept the request? Now Chris Finch knows, Ime Udoka knows, Jason Kidd knows, hey, you know what? If you want to come to New York, we're ready for you. So I don't really see why it matters that they deny the request, because if I'm the agent, I'm just going to reach out anyway, or a friend of an agent. There are loopholes. There are ways around this. If Chris Finch is interested, if Ime Udoka is interested, if Jason Kidd is interested in going to New York and coaching the Knicks, they're now well aware that the Knicks want them and will likely pay them very, very well. So it'll be interesting to see if the Knicks are able to steal one of these coaches or a different coach. But I don't hate it. They're getting criticized like crazy from all the standard talking head media. I kind of like it. Why not go after a proven head coach? Ime Udoka, it's just a matter of time before that guy wins a title. Get him a decent lineup, and he's going to win a title at some point very soon. I mean, we saw what he did with the Celtics quickly. Then he had the unfortunate circumstances there where they had to let him go. He goes to the Rockets. The Rockets were just garbage, and they immediately turn it around when he's the head coach. So a guy like that, why would you not want to go after him? I would too. So I don't blame the Knicks. I think Ime Udoka is a better coach than Tom Thibodeau. I think it's just a matter of time before he wins a title. So I kind of like that the Knicks are doing this. People are dragging him for it, but I actually think it's pretty smart. All right, you guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for being here on STB Sports Take. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, all the good stuff. I am out. Peace.